In this video, I'm going to review my own car, my new to me 2000 Vauxhall Vectra 2.2 LS. Yeah, it's not the most inspiring car, is it? But that is not the point. No, this really is not the point of this car. It is not about trying to have the fastest car, the best looking. It's just an average daily car is what I'm after, and that's what this is. Incidentally, just for long-term followers, this is not my new unit. It's just one of several incubation units available to rent from Ceredigion Council. There are quite a few that are available, but yeah, it's not my new unit. But this is my 2000 Vauxhall Vectra 2.2 LS. So LS is fairly near the bottom of the range. I think the Envoy was the lower spec model. But, you know, by this stage, even a lowly spec didn't mean you didn't get anything. I mean, you got nice alloy wheels by the look of it. We've got electric windows in the front, central locking on a remote, air conditioning even. Note the lack of sunroof, because why would you want both? They reckoned. I quite like a sunroof, but nonetheless. It's on an X plate, which confirms it's from 2000. That's towards the end of that number plate sequence. There was just Y after it. I think X was March to September 2000. This is a facelifted Vectra. It's got a slightly different grille to the earlier models, full body colour bumpers. Early ones had a lot more black plastic going on, but the facelift didn't really change an awful lot, to be honest. Apparently the mirrors are bigger on the facelift. We'll get to mirrors. It's definitely one of the most defining features of this car. The facelift also gave you a slightly different back end treatment with these slightly different rear lights. The sticker is not my doing. I'm just leaving it there because it seems to cause a lot of upset on the internet. People think I should get rid of it, and I'm just like, it's my car, I'll do what I like. But the Vectra was it's not a bad car, but I don't think it quite lived up to some of the competition at the time. Some of the competition was worse, some of the competition was better. I personally think a Mark III Mondeo, it somehow feels a more refined, a better package, better handling. But I don't think this is a bad car, and for what I need, it is perfect. We'll start with a peek under the bonnet, because the engine is not perhaps quite what you'd expect. Yes, it does make annoying beeping noises quite often. That's because I've left the key in the ignition. But if you take the key out and then put it back in, it at least doesn't keep making the horrible beeping noise. Does it do it next time I open the door? No. There we go, that's quite good in a way. Reasonable build quality. The doors don't make the most beautiful Germanic noise, but we've got gas struts for the bonnet. And this one has the engine cover missing. You shouldn't be able to see any of this because this was a stage when it didn't want you looking at anything. So there'll be a plastic cover over the top of this Ecotec engine. I told someone it wasn't an Ecotec, but apparently it is. But it is a bit different to other Ecotec engines in that it has a chain-driven pair of camshafts. That can be an issue. These earlier versions of this engine, this 2.2 litre engine, had problems with the oiling mechanism. The hole was too small, a bit like the old Ford Pinto issues, I guess, with their overhead camshafts knocking themselves out through poor supply. But yeah, that's what it is. It seems okay to me. I don't think it's making horrible rattling noises, but with the exhaust blowing, as we'll discover, it's a little hard to tell. The aircon doesn't work because this pipe is fractured, so I need to replace that pipe if I want working air conditioning. I'm not sure how much I care. It's really quite muggy today, so maybe I care more than I did yesterday. Wiring and sensors all over the place. This is a modern engine after all, and yeah, God knows where anything is. Spark plugs are under here apparently, and does that mean it's coil packs? Could it be coil packs, or is that a coil there? I don't know. I look forward to reading the comments when everyone goes, no you idiot, this is what it is. I'm just going to check the battery is secure. Yeah, I do wonder about that. That looks like a transport plug that shouldn't be in there. I spotted that the other day. Screen wash bottle hidden in the front wing, so the water won't unfreeze on a cold day. Terrible design. Plastic header tank over here. But otherwise, yeah, lots of pipes and wires, and you're not really meant to go anywhere near any of it. I'm not sure where this car was built. I don't know how you tell, because some of these were assembled in Germany and some of them were assembled in Luton. this age of Vectra was the last car, excluding the Frontera SUV, to be built at Luton. Well, yeah, it is what it is. Right, we'll move our attention indoors, I think. I've got the window open because it's so hot. It's uninspiring is the phrase I would use to describe, or the words I would describe this interior with. Yeah, it's not a very lively pattern. It's very black in here, acres of black plastic, and yeah, it needs a clean, evidently. Height adjuster we've also got lumbar adjustment on the seat, but if I jump aboard, these seats are very typical Opel Vauxhall of this time. They are really quite hard, and I've only done, the longest journey I've done in it so far is 50 miles and I didn't die, so maybe it's not that bad. But yeah, if we take in the interior, it is a bit dull really, but everything falls nicely to hand switchgear wise. Interesting. Is that because you've got your parking lights on, I wonder? But I like the fact you can play a tune with the indicator stalk. I think it is parking lights. Let's go and have a look. Have we got a side light on over here now? Yes, we have. So there you go, just the one side light on. So that's your parking lights. But no one in this country uses parking lights, so it's all a bit meaningless. But Germans do like them. Got wipers over here. We've got a mist function there going on. Moving rearwards a little, we can see we've got buttons on the stereo for buttons on the steering wheel rather for the stereo, which I'll get to in a minute. We've got the rotating knob here, and if you don't know, pulling that makes the interior light come on. That's how that works. Fog lights rear only on this spec, but we've got self-leveling and adjust the brightness. Bonnet release is down there. Moving to the center console, we've got Vauxhall's own head unit here, CD player, lovely sound on it, but this little panel comes out, so you can take that with you to stop anyone stealing your stereo, but I don't think anyone's really going to do that, are they? Big pair of scissors. Ugh, it's Steve Wright, turn it off again. Here we've got the panel, nice clear concise controls, and the fan's relatively quiet as well, so that's nice. I'm having to use some serious fan today. We've got a multimedia display over here. If I put the ignition on, there you go, we've got some information. I still haven't tried to adjust the date, so it's still a day in the future. I'm recording this on the 6th of August, but all the pixels appear to work, which is more than can be said for the millimeter. But you'll notice it's only got 58,000 miles on the clock, so that's pretty good going. 60 litre fuel tank, that's the first time I filled it, so I haven't got any MPG figures for you just yet, I'm afraid. And I've had some people comment on the original, I'm going to take the key out, launch video to say that they think the mileage isn't real because of stuff like this, but I think these are just crap. I think they're made out of terrible imitation leather and they just fall apart. The handbrake one's doing the same. If you look at the handle, there's a bit of a shiny knob, pardon the expression, going on, but the steering wheel, the surround looks like it's had very little wear indeed, and the same with the pedals. To be honest, they have not seen that much use, so I think on balance this car probably has done the mileage that's claimed. We've got twin airbags going on, traction control, ABS, all sorts. But yeah, it's all just a bit uninspiring. You notice we've got a blanking plug over here because on this side we've got the electric mirror control. It's a good job we got the chrome handles, or we really would have lost the will to live. This opens up into a cubby. There is 1 penny inside it, and it's a bit high. It does kind of get in the way of your elbow on the gear changes, so that's not very well thought out. The gear change itself is a bit long throw and clunky, and also long throw is the, excuse the sandals, the clutch. It has a really long travel on it, and the bite on this one is quite high. So yeah, again, a typical German feature. A lot of Volkswagen Audi cars, even Porsches, tend to have quite a long travel on the clutch pedal. It's what they like. We've got a sunglasses holder up here, which is not something I've seen before. Nice large mirror for looking at yourself in there, and height adjustable seat belts, and that probably concludes the level of excitement here. Oh, incidentally, someone noticed this little sticker, wondered what it was. It is a fishery permit for 2005 at Lady Bower Fishery, presumably at Lady Bower Reservoir. Right, we shall jump into the rear and see how things are here. Right, I've got trousers on, so at least you haven't got a knees alert. And I've got the seat belts digging in my back straight away because they're in their clipped position. They actually clip to these little clips here, which means for when you fold the seat down, you don't lose the buckles. So that's quite a nice feature. Center armrest. We've got a ski hatch which still doesn't seem to want to open, so we're just ignoring that. Head restraint in the middle, which I've now pushed down. And obviously head restraints all around. And 3-point seat belts for all the seats. So that's good times. We've also got mailbag. I've just had a fresh collection of mailbag items. So I might tack a mailbag on the end of this video. Might be in a future video. And, oh, there's a Toyota. Where's that from? Thanks a lot for the entertainment. He hasn't said. Martin, where is it? Oh, Yemen. Photo by Lucas Plum. Very good. But yeah, returning to the seating, it's apart from the seatbelts in the back, there's a decent amount of knee room. My feet fit under the seat in front. I have a feeling there's more space in the back of a Mondeo. I'm just going to try the rear window. Yeah, that's not bad. And no cushioning on our grab handles. In fact, that highlights a point. I don't think there's much sound deadening on the roof, so when you close the doors you can get a bit of a... It sounds like it's very hollow, so they cheapened out a bit there, I think. Right, we shall look elsewhere around this vehicle. Because, you know, this is me finding my way around it, because I've not owned it that long. I do like the fact you can open the boot without the key. And there we go. Probably a slightly better view of the boot now. It's always worrying when a car comes with oil. I probably should check the level. At some point we've got the wheel wrench down there as well. A couple of key rings, it would seem. Let's see what's under the back, because I've no idea. Hurrah! It's a full-size spare wheel. And it feels like it might actually have some air in it as well. It isn't quite fastened securely. It should be, but somehow it isn't. What we got in here? First aid kit. Oh, there's two of those. No first aid kit, and no jack either, so that's worth bearing in mind. But that's also how I access the rear lights, which is good because I think I've got a bulb or two out. GM Borgers, datum 14th of the 11th 00. Okay, that's later than I thought the car was registered. Maybe I'm wrong about the date. Maybe X ran from September to March the following year. I haven't got the V5 with me, so I can't confirm the actual dates. But yeah, a massive boot. I think with the seats folded and the parcel shelf out, it's going to be a really useful vehicle. So that's good times. Quality. So there we go. That's the outside walk around. I think all that remains really is to go for a drive. I do have to warn you, in case you missed it, the exhaust is blowing on the Flexi. I've replaced the Flexi really badly, so you'll have to excuse a little extra noise, but we'll get set up, go for a drive. Right, I shall start the engine up. And there we go. It's a bit blob, 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 blob. Because someone can't fit an exhaust properly. Do a wiper test. The wipers do come on too quickly when you pull the lever. Japanese cars tend to have a bit of a pause. These new wiper blades, but we've got good overlap. No triangle of doom, even though I'm wearing the t-shirt. And I haven't shown you the rear wiper. I don't think I can from that angle. We'll include it later. Not to worry. It's a pretty decent turn-in circle. It's a nice car to drive gently. The clutch seems very smooth in its engagement, possibly because it's worn out. But yeah, it just feels quite nice. I'll do the window up so we get some peace and quiet. And there is one tendency that this car has, which a lot of petrol engines seem to have in this early 2000s sort of time period. And they seem to hold the revs, which is slightly frustrating, I find. It's not actually what I want the engine to do. but it makes making a quick gear change becomes quite difficult. They're going right despite the lack of indicating, so we shall go left therefore. It's a stop, a rare stop here in the UK. I've stopped, sort of. There you go. Oh, a bit of a thump. Oh, I left the rear window open. That was foolish. That's buffering like crazy. There we go. That's how we used to do it in the old days. But yeah, as you can hear, it doesn't make particularly inspiring noises, but it does go well. And a bit of 2.2, fair bit of torque, so mid-range grunt. So that's us doing 40 to 60 in top gear, and we're there. We're doing 2,500 revs at 60 miles an hour, so it's peaceful and relaxing in just the way most of my cars aren't. The ride is pretty good. It jiggles around a bit at times. Again, very typical of cars of this era. And the steering is entirely dead. It's just got no sensation whatsoever. Again, not too dissimilar from other cars, but I do think Ford had the edge. The Mark III Mondeo was very well regarded in terms of how it behaved, and I think Vauxhall were caught off the pace. I mean, to be fair, this generation of Vectra, the Vectra B, is an older design than the Mark III Mondeo. I think the Vectras came in 95, and the Mondeo is more like sort of 99, 2000. So by the time this generation of Vectra, this particular one, these facelifts were on the market, yeah, it was just not very good, really. It was off the pace. It was just a bit elderly. That doesn't mean it's terrible, but nor does it mean it's good. But it's a very tractable engine. It'll do 30 miles an hour in top, and that makes it very pleasant because you're not having to change gear all the time. So it should be absolutely ideal for me. It's just the sort of boring car that I really wanted to own. The armrest in the middle also manages to get in the way of the handbrake, which is a bit annoying. I'm not sure I like an armrest that much, but I'm willing to put up with the irritation, but I don't think it can be removed particularly easy, so that's that. Oh, thump again. Yeah, it's better just don't rev the engine and just use the mid-range instead. I mean, when it comes to bends, it's competent. It doesn't feel terrible. You can corner probably as quickly as you'd want to corner on the road. Imagine it falls apart quite dramatically on track. But you know, remember, most of us don't do our driving on track. If you want to drive on a track, then get a track car. Because even a good road car can feel somewhat hopeless on track. They push a very specific set of requirements, but a family car shouldn't be delivering. Instead, this just feels smooth and effortless and peaceful, and the stereo is amazing. It may be somewhat dull, it may be unexciting, but for many journeys, that's exactly what you want. You just want competent. You want it to just get you from A to B with a minimum fuss. And if it's not very exciting, put the stereo on, listen to some lovely music. That's what I did yesterday. Worked my way through radio 1, 2 and 3. And yeah, it's a really good sound system. These little tweeters add quite a bit of punch, but there's a lovely bass response as well. It's not quite, it's got a subwoofer territory, but it's not bad. So the engine's 140 brake horse, I think. It feels a little bit like all the powers stuck at the top end, a bit typical of modern multi-valve engines. But like I say, because it's a 2.2, it's got that capacity to yeah, get you down the road quite nicely without necessarily having to try too hard. I think as cars got heavier, that was probably the right move. I think the Mondeo, I'm not sure you could have that with a 2.2, certainly not at the time this Vectra was in production. Now you could get a V6, 2.5 V6, and it's a lovely silky smooth engine. I've driven a V6 automatic, and yeah, I liked it very much indeed. But they are very front heavy, so you do pay the price for that, all that luxury. Obviously this is a motor vehicle, and not everything is perfect. Nothing ever is. I will say the indicator noise is a little bit too quiet. I actually struggle to hear it, and it's far too easy when you're going for a flick wipe to accidentally put it on the intermittent setting, but I'm sure I'll learn my way around that. Now the biggest problem with this car is the mirrors. They are absolutely rubbish, and they're such a key part of the styling of this car, the way they swoop out from the bonnet, but the lens size is just too small. It's really difficult to see what's going on behind you, and the Mondeo is definitely better in that regard. This is slightly better than the Mondeo in terms of what you can see out the rear hatch. The Mondeo is kind of like driving a Lamborghini. You just have this tiny little slit of a rear window. The Vectra is not as bad, but still, reversing up to a wall, very, very difficult. And unfortunately I do that every day when I go home. But yeah, you can't really see what's going on behind you. So that is the not very exciting, but I don't want it to be, Vauxhall Vectra. Hopefully it will be the ideal family transport. It's what I need. It's just something that I can just jump in and it'll go, and hopefully it will prove to be that vehicle. I don't want it to be massively exciting. I just want it to be able to get me around. I cover a lot of miles. I need a mile muncher. Hopefully this is it, and hopefully it will behave. Some people have told me it'll be terrible, it'll be unreliable, it'll break every 5 minutes, and I look forward to hopefully proving them wrong, and hopefully proving that the Vectra is a dependable and absolutely fine way to travel. So I should say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. There will be many more videos on this car, hopefully. Head to hubnut.org for various merchandise, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell. Hi. Yes, I know that should have a bulb in it. Yep, I think I need some new wiper blades.